So what's up guys, welcome back to a brand new Warzone video. For today's upload, I'm back at you guys with another Top Guns video, and man, before I get into it, I have to say a huge thank you to you guys for the support shown on the Season 3 Top Guns video. It nearly has 20k in a week, and it's also just about to hit 300 likes. It's at 295 at the moment, so I really do appreciate that. I enjoy doing these Top Guns videos, so if you guys enjoy watching them, don't forget to drop a like, and I will bring you more of them each week. I don't want to do it too often, but I'll definitely keep them coming consistently, at least once a week. So if you guys are not familiar with these Top Gun videos, basically what I do is I take the weapons that I'm ranking and place them based off of their overall performance just across the board in Warzone. So it's not taking them as what they're good at, but trying to look at the bigger picture of things. Like obviously the Scar is only good at close to medium range as it has 30 rounds in its clip, but it does pack a punch. So those longer shots and those longer range combat fights are a little bit more limited than something like an M4 with 60 rounds. So it's just kind of looking at their performance across the board. So starting off with the number 3 spot on this list, something that you guys are probably going to be really surprised to see, and that is the MP5. The MP5, yes, is 100% a meta weapon within multiplayer as well as Warzone. It has a few things about it that make it fall short compared to other SMGs, and especially the two that I'm going to mention in the number 2 and 1 spot later when we go down the list. So to start off with its pros, obviously it's just a very feel-good, great SMG to use. It has quite a lot of pros such as low recoil, it's got good damage to it, and it just overall feels really good to use. It doesn't matter what type of player you are, what skill level you have. Most playstyles and most skill levels can use the MP5 quite well. Now a few things that make the MP5 fall short. The first thing is that it only has one attachment to increase its damage range and one attachment to increase its bullet velocity, that being monolithic suppressor for the damage and the monolithic integral for the bullet velocity. Now that's a pretty big downside for Warzone because there are quite a few SMGs that do have the damage range, bullet velocity and recoil control barrels, so you're able to double up with monolithic and these barrels, and the MP5 is just an SMG that doesn't have much to it to increase its overall damage range. So one more pro that I want to bring up before I go into the class setup is the 10mm auto 30 round mags. This in fact does increase the damage and the range, but it will decrease the fire rate and increase the recoil, so it's not too good, especially for those longer range engagements, but of course up close and personal that might be a little bit more beneficial. Now onto my personal MP5 class setup that I use to try and get the best out of this gun. We're going to be starting off with the monolithic suppressor, the Ranger foregrip, 45 round mags, rubberized grip tape, and the FTAC collapsible stock. So going over the class setup, well, monolithic is pretty much the only thing we get to increase the damage range. We've got Ranger foregrip, as that will help us control the recoil at longer ranges, so kind of compensating for not having that barrel. We've got the 45 round mags to max out our magazine to give us the most bullets possible. I've got the rubberized grip tape to lower the recoil to yet again try and compensate for not having that barrel. Like I said, I'm trying to get the best out of this as I can. And then we've got the FTAC collapsible stock just to give us a bit of faster ADS for those close to medium range fights. Overall, I'm ranking the MP5 in the number 3 spot just because of those things that do make it fall short. Like I said, it doesn't have the attachments to increase its damage range, its bullet velocity, and the recoil control like most SMGs have, and that is going to be the number 3 spot. So moving on to the number 2 spot, I'm going to be placing a gun that I know most of you will not agree with when you hear it at first, but just let me justify and break down my decision, and then you can decide whether or not you agree with me. So moving on to that number 2 spot, I'm going to be placing the P90. Now the first reason is because it comes with a 50 round base mag just right off the bat. The max the MP5 can have in a mag is 45 rounds, so that right there is already something that the P90 has over the MP5. And I know some of you are going to say it's only 5 bullets, it's not that much of a big deal, but considering SMGs burn through ammo quite quickly, and also taking into consideration you may miss a couple shots and not just be as accurate in your gunfight, you really might be saved by those extra 5 bullets, and it honestly can just mean life or death, so those 5 bullets do make a difference. So the next couple things I'm going to go on to are kind of personal preference based, because for me, I feel like the P90 is a consistent, accurate, and overall just great weapon to use. When I go into gunfights at close to medium ranges, sometimes long range of course, but SMGs are built more around close and medium, I have a confident feeling that I'm going to be able to take on whatever weapon they have and win that gunfight. Something else to mention is that it does have the damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control barrel. Speaking of attachments, I will get onto the class setup in a second, but it is very important for SMGs to have this, as well as obviously any weapon, but SMGs specifically because they don't have that strong damage range. Having that extra added damage range as well as monolithic, doubling up on them, is very important, and then the extra bullet velocity and recoil control as well. So now moving on to the class setup, we're going to be rocking the monolithic suppressor, the forged tack retribution, tack laser, stippled grip tape for the underbarrel, and then rubberized grip tape for the rear grip. So monolithic giving us the extra damage range as well as sound suppression, very important to have. We've got the forged tack retribution barrel giving us that extra damage range range, bullet velocity, as well as recoil control. The tac laser is going to allow our gun to just be more stable and accurate. It does give you that laser when you ADS, and it's kind of like an extra, I don't know, like a crosshair. I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels very accurate, stable, and overall good to use when you have a tac laser on, so I would recommend giving that a go. The underbarrel is going to be stippled grip tape, giving us recoil control and aiming stability, yet again more stability for the gun, as well as the rear grip giving us recoil control. So we've got a lot of recoil control attachments, and I think that's what plays a big part in being able to take on those longer range fights. This is probably one of the lowest recoil SMGs next to the MP7. I've had quite a lot of time played with the P90, and I feel like alongside the MP7, the P90 has the lowest recoil out of the SMGs. So with all of that said and done, we've taken a look at the number 3 and 2 spots, that being the MP5 and the P90, but now we're rolling on to the number 1 spot, the best weapon in the SMG categories, the one that can take on the most gunfights at different situations. It can be applied to a lot of different engagements, and that is going to be the MP7. I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting to see this, because even though the Warzone does have 84 rounds in its mag as the most that it can have, it kind of falls short on a few things, and the MP7 just takes the spot. You can have 60 rounds max in the mag, and that is really good, especially for how little recoil this gun has. I actually did a video covering the no recoil class setup where I just focused on all attachments that decrease the recoil and increase the range. The ranges that it can beam at, if you've got, you know, pretty decent accuracy and you can hit your shots, it's crazy how far you can actually take on gunfights with an SMG, and the MP7 is overall the best that there is. Moving on to my MP7 class setup, the best that I have found so far is going to be monolithic suppressor, the FSS recon barrel, range of foregrip, 60 round mags, and the no stock attachment. So first of all, monolithic, you guys know the deal, will give us the sound suppression and damage range, very helpful. The FSS recon barrel is that basic damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control barrel, which will help us with all of those three things. Range of foregrip will give us the standard recoil control, but will also help with recoil at longer ranges and aiming stability, which is very good considering we're using no stock as one of our attachments, which actually add recoil to the gun and take away your aiming stability. So by using Ranger, you get that aiming stability back. And then the last attachment is going to be 60 round mags, which I personally like a lot because I do take on longer range fights with this. You're going to want to maximize the rounds in your mag as much as possible, especially if you play any other mode besides solo and you're taking on multiple people at once. It's very helpful to not have to reload and to be able to continue shooting. So that's going to be my MP7 class setup. With all of that covered, that is going to end today's Top Guns video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a sub with notifications on if you're brand new to the channel. I upload every single day here on Modern Warfare. Top Gun videos, class setups, tips and tricks, high kill gameplays, the lot. If you guys want more Top Gun videos, please don't forget to drop a like. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody, and I'm out.